that one, huh?
No, wow.
Sometimes people want to know what made us fans. How did he influence us? How did he impact our lives? Why are we still fans now in 2025, all these years after his passing? Today, we're going to be talking about how Michael Jackson impacted and influenced our lives. And I am super excited to be introducing one of our favorite guests here, my good friend, Randall.
What's up, y'all? Back again. Always good to see you, MJ Fangirl.
Yes, and I'm super excited because this is our first episode in the studio.
Yeah. You got some good taste. Leveling up year after year, so I love to see it.
Yeah. I'm super excited to get into this combo though, because we've done so many videos together, from reaction videos to vlogs and just a lot of conversations. And we've never really gotten to the nitty gritty of how Michael Jackson has impacted us and influenced our lives as fans.
Yeah, I remember when we talked about this a little bit, and I'm like, oh yeah, like for some reason that's something that we've glossed over. So like you, I'm looking forward to getting into it.
First of all, let's touch upon how you got into Michael. And I'm going to ask you some questions, and then later on, I'll tell a little bit of my story. But I really want the audience to kind of get to know you and your story today, Randall. So let's talk about it. How did you discover Michael Jackson?
Well, I'd say first, I have memories in my mind of being about 10 years old and hearing the Dangerous tape in my mom's car as we used to ride with her, and hearing like Why You Want to Trip About Me a lot. It was around 96, 97. But the moment I really became a fan was a moment that I've actually talked about on your channel before, with a lot of humor, if you recall. So I think we have that clip.
Yeah, Solomon, please play the clip.
Etch-a-Sketch draws a smooth criminal silhouette, and then you hear the scream from Scream as it lifts up, and you see this figure come out from behind the Etch-a-Sketch. And I saw Michael Jackson come out from behind that Etch-a-Sketch. This is the first time I'm seeing Michael Jackson live in my lifetime, like on TV, on the program I'm currently watching. I'm not watching no pre-recorded concert. I'm not watching no short film. Like, I'm watching Michael live. I swear to y'all, like I'm in my parents' house looking for this bad cassette tape. I'm looking for that Dangerous tape that my mom used to play in the car that I was telling you about in the summers of 96 and 97. I go out and cop the 2001 special editions. I'm like, where that Invincible album at? This is the moment that activated me. And since
then, it's been on and popping.
It's been on and popping. Like I said, I found, my parents' Michael Jackson tapes, the bad one. I have the old school Thriller tape as well. And, I started copping a whole bunch of stuff. And so after that, it was on and popping. Got onto the forums back in the forum days for people that remember that, and really just started doing deep dives into the music on my own.
Yeah, those forum days were so fun. Like, it's just people were on there like updating things minute by minute. You refresh and there's only like 3 new comments.
Mm-hmm. My forum username, I think, was MJ Mixer 88. So if anybody remembers that back in the day, if you remember coming across that name, that was me, because I loved remixes and stuff back in the day. So that's why, and still do.
Still do. We just did an episode about that. Don't remember the episode number, but go and check that out. It's all about remixes. And I was going to bring something up, but now I lost my train of thought. So now I'm going to ask you what I'm like, you said something and I was like, I want to respond to that, but I can't remember. So tell us, like, what do you think drew you into Michael's music? What drew you into him?
I think what drew me into Michael's music was the largesse of it all, like the way that it was promoted. And I think, the delivery. One of the things that I came across much later that Michael used to bring up is, I believe, something from Michelangelo said, he binds his soul to the art so that he can live forever. So it definitely shone through when I listened to the music, and also just tried to place him in the context of, I guess, my life when I think about, the way that his music was celebrated and his art was celebrated and how people used to come together for short films whenever they would premiere. Like, in my lifetime, that would be Black or White, Remember the Time, Scream, music. I was going to say music videos, almost committed a faux pas, short films like that.
They would come for you in the comments if you left that.
Yeah, right. So, like Michael Jackson is very much American made and like part of, it's basically as American as apple pie in my mind. Like there's not a moment in the last few decades of the 20th century that Michael wasn't, related to, or people don't remember, so that's how I got into it. And then really started to understand, okay, who is the person that is behind this music? Like what makes him tick to be even able to come up with these concepts and deliveries and performances. And so that's also where I started to, want to read books about him and try to read articles online. Back in the early 2000s, a lot of people in the forum days used to hear, you tried to put together pieces of stories and rumors that people would share and try to create a narrative that made sense in your mind, because that's all you had to go on. So that's kind of how I got into it and stayed with it, because I was always invested in learning more about him and not just his music.
That's so interesting that you say that, because I can totally identify with the whole like wanting to learn more. And I know we'll talk about this later, but like that influence really was heavy because it made me want to like go to library and get some books out and like try to piece together that puzzle, especially because we're talking before YouTube. So a lot of people that are watching this on YouTube would not understand that, because I know it's unfathomable, like even to me, but we didn't have YouTube. There were some websites that had clips like MJFANGIRL Vid.
I was going to say that one. I was going to let you rock. Yes, that's exactly the one. You will find so much fire from that website. Shout out to whoever ran that, but keep going.
Yes. That video, that website. And the thing about it was it would only let you download like 3 or 4 videos per week, and it would refresh every Sunday. And you'd be like, ooh, new videos. And you would have to save it on the hard drive. It's funny because I had the hard drive out the other day with like all my videos that I had saved. And it's just such a it's the hard drive's old, it's humming. And I gotta upload those to a cloud somewhere.
But yes, I remember those days. You are totally right.
Okay, so let's talk about early age. So you discovered Michael like in your teenage years, and like let's get some visuals going and talk a little bit about the moments that I guess in Michael's energy and influence started to show.
Okay, so I'd say, and here's a picture of me with Mr. Vincent Patterson. You just had an interview with him. I think was well received by the fans and the audience.
Yes.
So I got into MJ in high school. And so at that time, I really was looking for, something else. The main genre that I listened to a lot at the time, surprise, was rap. So, I think, and I was a fan of Biggie. So Invincible was my first album that came out in my lifetime that I remember, being of age to purchase, I would say. So, having Biggie on the opening track on Unbreakable, and then that really just gave me a chance to explore music in a way that I don't think I was listening to before, and being more analytical and thinking about, okay, what are the technical aspects behind how he created sounds like this, like the dry snare that was throughout Dangerous, that Teddy Riley used, and getting to understand, the producers and the people behind the boards that he worked with. And so Michael really opened up a lot of my taste. Because, as we know, he had a lot of different genres on his albums. He had the rock song, he had, elements of gospel on it. And then, towards the to the end of the 80s, early 90s, he started putting some like rap in it. So it just kind of gave me the taste of different things that I could go on to explore and like be fans of bands like Incubus and artists that are, like I said, in gospel and so many other ways. And so the other thing that he did for me was be able to find community in my fandom. So at the time, you know, my fandom was pretty much individual and solitary, but you know, as the years passed and I started to go to different events where I could meet like-minded fans and also people that he worked with, like Vincent Patterson. So this is me at some of these events and listening to stories of people that used to work with him and he used to work with, and just get a sense of what was going on at the time and how did those things manifest in the music and what were, you know, the technical aspects of things that he might have had to do, like sing through a tube, I believe, to like get like echo, I believe, or something to that effect when it comes to background vocals. So, like I said, got to meet a lot of his collaborators and ask questions, play with some songs. So here's another picture of me with a lot of his collaborators. That's Brian Vibberts, Brad Sundberg, Brad Buxer, Matt Forger. I don't believe I know the person on all the way on the right, the bald guy, but you know, just listening, I really enjoyed, because I'm pretty much a researcher in a sense. Like I can Google a lot of stuff and find it, but some stories you just can't look up on the internet. You know what I mean?
So true.
So I developed friendships through this community and meeting people like yourself.
Yes. Yeah. I feel like the community aspect is what has kept a lot of us here, because, I mean, not that we wouldn't be fans anymore, but like it keeps the energy alive. It keeps the memory alive. And it's fun to like see something Michael related and be able to text a friend or be like, hey, there's an event, let's go to this. Or, you know, like we have a commonality as Michael Jackson fans. And yeah, I totally agree with you 1,000%.
Yeah, it's rounded out, you know, the info, because there's the static information of, okay, he recorded this song here, he had this many songs of the album there, but then to actually be in discussion with folks like yourself and then talk about how a certain song impacted you that didn't impact me, or like, where were you when this video premiered? And then you get to start to get to know people through the fandom and get to know individuals and get to know them outside of Michael as well. So it really facilitated a lot of connection. And so here's me, for example, like going on a trip with some of my friends, and I got to go to his star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. And then I went to Havenhurst. There I am. Yeah. So with a picture disc of my favorite album is Bad. So I had to get that. There's a record store down the street from Havenhurst. I cleared out all the Michael vinyl. So if there's a reason why, you know, you can't find none, and this is back in 2011, I want to say that's the reason, because of me, because I cleared it out. You know what I'm saying? I had just got a job, so I was balling out of control. I was like, let me get all these. So yeah. So, you know, just to be able to roam the streets, and again, taking the trip to Neverland and being at the gates. So that was really cool, just to, you know, retrace some steps and see places and people and listen to how they played a part in the creation of this persona and this person and the art that is Michael Jackson. That's what fascinates me the most.
Yeah, and I am very jealous that you got to go to Neverland. I still have not made the trip.
Are you serious?
I've never been to Neverland.
I mean, I technically I haven't either. I've just been to the gates, but still.
Well,
you know.
I know. I feel like that's like a rite of passage. Like everybody has to go at least to the gates.
It was really nice too. You got to make sure you go on a day where it's like sunny and nice. That really like added an element to being there that I think is helpful and necessary when you're going to these places that he used to frequent. So I just remember sitting down and just, you know, absorbing everything, the space, the environment, and thinking about, this place being a refuge to him after, going out on tour and doing these performances and appearances and all this stuff, like coming back to a place like this. I could see contextually, oh yeah, this is why you would come out here, to be away from all of that.
Yeah, I got to make the trip out there. Now you're making me really want to go. I think I heard that they like filmed some stuff for the biopic there, and then also that they kind of dressed it up. So I'm like, can y'all just leave it like that for us fans to go? And just open the doors too. Open the gates while you're at it. So I know you had a couple more cool pics with collaborators. There was one with you and a gentleman in like a reddish shirt. I'm not really.
Oh, that's the Brian Vibbers. Yeah, he's an engineer during the history era.
Oh.
Yes. So I think, there's a lot of documentation around certain albums in Michael's career. I think, Thriller, Bad, and it kind of starts to tail off a little bit in the 90s. And so even though, those are the albums with the most promotional support, of those being like singles and short films and stuff like that. But when it comes to, okay, how did this song get created? How did that get created? We might know the larger context of these things, but to be able to hear the minutia of it. So that's where somebody like Brian Vibbers came in. He mixed the song. He mixed some of the album, to be specific. So listening to somebody like him, one of the collaborators that you might not hear about the most, I always love to hear from people like that, just to add more context to the stories I already know. And again, to paint a fuller picture as much as I can of somebody who wasn't in the room, right? And to be able to understand contextually why some of these songs were made, why they sound the way they do, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, and that's such a good point, because in the recent interview that I did with Vincent Patterson, I talked to him about, he mentioned that a lot of Michael's camp and management at the time kind of wanted it to be like Michael did everything sort of a deal. So they never really let you see behind the scenes. And although it did contribute to like this larger than life image and persona and like, just view of him as an entertainer, it kind of robbed us as fans of knowing how some of the stuff came to be. And so I love the fact that you've gone to like all these like seminars and events and listened to some of these stories. And like, I'm really excited because I'm hoping to bring some people that were collaborators in that to this channel, so people can really hear about the behind the scenes, because I think it makes you appreciate them more.
Mm-hmm. It does. You start to understand somebody like Michael is somebody who was always in dialogue with another creative. Like he might have had the idea and the concept, but he always enlisted somebody who was an expert at their particular craft to be able to bring his vision to life. So, he's a maestro, in a sense.
Yes.
So, and being able to hear from, at these seminars, people like John Barnes, who was with him, for so long, RIP to John Barnes, like, that was great too. So, people like Vincent Patterson, people like Buxler, who helped write Stranger in Moscow, people like Brian Vibbers, people like who was so many people, like I said, people like John Barnes and the like, you know what I mean? Like they flesh out the art and the imagery that we consume.
Yeah.
And yeah.
And so many people that share like Travis Payne, Lavelle.
Oh gosh, Travis Payne, yes.
Like I just love that they're open and willing to share like about, all it took to make some of these projects come to life.
Mm-hmm.
And that being said, I want to get into how Michael's influence continues to like inspire you today, because I know you are an artist, Lego master at that. We always have to mention Randall's a Lego master. If y'all didn't know, he was on Lego Master season 2.
That's right.
And the Holiday Bricktacular special.
That's wow. You know more than I do. I forgot. Okay.
Which is streaming on Hulu. You got to check him out, because a lot of people will still come in the comments and be like, hey, am I seeing this right, or was Randall on a Lego show? And I'm like, yep, this is the same Randall.
That was me.
So, as an artist, like, how has Michael influenced you just as an artist, as in your life? Tell us about it.
Yeah, so I think a couple different ways. One that comes to mind first is the craftsmanship. Michael was somebody who was a perfectionist. And, always anything that he did, it wasn't either if it was the music or it was the short film, every shot, every cut had to be to his liking. And if it wasn't, he'd go back and make sure that it was. And so that shows in my work through how thorough and precise I like to be. And making sure that what I put out is the best representation of me and my art that I can do, with every client that I have. So I'm able to stand by it proudly and say, yes, this is me. And this is how I express my talent through the brick, for example. So I think the other thing, too, is Michael was also an icon of fashion, I think. There's so many, there's a couple different lines that I think about in terms of fashion, like fashion shows, I should say, when people would walk the aisle with, MJ inspired clothing. And so I think when I started adding to my repertoire in my closet, just around certain things that I think would fit me that I liked, I think about a lot of the jackets that he wore, mostly like the Letterman jackets, right? So I always was a fan of those, even before him. So to see that he would wear stuff like that was kind of affirming and being like, okay, I can wear stuff like this. And also for the fans out there that know of certain jackets, like I can wear it and it's still subtle enough where it doesn't scream in your face. But if you're a fan,
yes,
like you've seen this before.
And you have so many of the jackets. You have a bunch of the jackets, but
I got a couple.
Still wanting more.
I got, I got the Van Jack one. We talked about that on your channel years ago. Went to MJ1, got the Thriller jacket. I've been eyeing that for years. I bought a couple before that weren't quite right in terms of either the color, the cut, the piping, whatever. So I got another version of the Van Jack, that jacket that's blue. So like I'm always looking for more. There's actually a Japanese guy who lives in Japan who has a lot of the jackets and wears them. And so I used to talk to him, a decent amount, and try to figure out, okay, how did you even come in possession of these? Well, how did this happen? Because I gotta bite your style, you know what I'm saying, and get yours.
Interesting. Yeah, it's really cool just to see like how Michael has influenced you and how he continues to influence you. And, I think for me, one of the ways that he's influenced me is just this channel. Like, I mean, this channel, this show, like, it's really made me be like more of a creative person, like tapping into that creativity and like wanting to like reinvent, one of the things that Michael was so great at was that like reinventing himself and bringing the people something new. And like, there have been so many phases of my channel, which is like my biggest creative outlet. Starting from just like sharing merchandise, sharing my personal story times, to vlogs, to travel. And, you were in one of them when we went to Paris.
That's right.
Right?
We saw that mural and went to that exhibit.
Yes. Yeah. On the wall.
On the wall.
Yes.
Yes.
Not off the wall, but on the wall. Not off. Yes. But so I was going to say the travel vlogs, then went into reaction videos, which Randall and I, if you guys did not know, our reaction video that we did is like at over 250,000 views.
What video is this?
The Billie Jean comparing Motown 25 to 30th anniversary.
I love that video. I love doing that when we did it. Yes. Shout out to you.
Shout out to you, because that was great. And shout out to longtime subscriber, supporter, watcher of this show and listener, Tajan Webster. He's the one who suggested that like so long ago, and we made it happen, and it blew, made the channel grow even bigger. So, but yeah, and now we're into this podcast phase, which is super duper fun and cool. and just wanting to research and like learn about the history. And to give people background that might not know about me, Randall knows this, but I was a fan from a very early age, probably 3 or 4. And our producer Solomon has a video that he can throw up of me at the young age showing off my fandom. You've never seen that one, huh?
No, wow. Wow, MJ Fangirls home videos.
Hey, I'm not new to this. I'm true to this, you know?
That's right. Wow.
It's been a while.
Wow.
This is now going on over 3 decades of fandom. I'm not going to tell my age, but you can do the calculation.
Wow. You know, all we missing is a I love the tour moment from you. That's all we need.
Seriously. And it's so funny because I told my dad, I was like, come on, Dad, please find these videos. And this is one of, I think, many. So
that's lovely.
But yeah, like my dad is a fan. My family fans, grew up listening to the music. My dad's a big music person, so always was showing me the vinyls. And I actually developed my love for Triumph tour with the Jackson's Live album. He was like, he had all his turntables and he's like, okay, come listen to this and close your eyes and pretend that you're there. And it really I was just like, wow. You know, it really gave me like that feeling of closeness to the music and wanting to be a part of that audience.
Wow. Did you think taking this step to be a creator, you know, inspired by your love for Michael, that you would be taking it this far?
Honestly, no. Like in my mind, I always thought like, I want to be one of those people on the documentaries that talks about Michael or that can add color to a conversation about him and his historical impact, and also his impact on a personal level, like on people and their emotions and how his music helps to lift people out of dark times. And I never realized that I could even take it to this level. Like, thank goodness for YouTube, because I started off just writing on a blog.
That's right.
Right? And now, you know, I go to events and I'm able to connect with other fans. And they'll be like, hey, MJ Fangirl, I love this video, and inspired other people to create channels and share their love about Michael. So I definitely feel like the impact and the influence is just, it's in my everyday life.
He influenced you to, you know, make your own type of impact. So, you know, shout out to you for taking it this far.
Yeah. And shout out to you for always being a part of these videos. Whenever I call, you're always like, yeah, I'll do it. Even if you might be in the middle of a Lego project, commission, all that, but you make the time.
Anything for MJ Fangirl.
Have you hit the subscribe button yet?
Almost anything for MJ Fangirl.
Well, no. Okay. Sorry. I said the wrong thing. He is subscribed, but he just doesn't have the bell on. So
the bell. I know what you meant, but yes.